Hello everyone and welcome to the Moist Ski News for October the 23rd, 2021. Today I'd like to talk about Matt Hancock. Matt Hancock was once the deluded and incompetent health secretary under Boris Johnson. That cocked up the NHS, botched the response to coronavirus, gave out PPE contracts worth millions of pounds to friends that did not make PPE, broke his own lockdown rules, and worst of all, he's a Newcastle Football Club supporter. You would have thought, based on how badly he handled coronavirus and how little he respected the NHS, that perhaps he would have been fired sooner. But Boris seemed to have a soft spot for this chinless Studmuffin, which doesn't really surprise anyone because Boris was hardly known at the start for getting rid of people unless they didn't do exactly as he said. But when it came to coronavirus, as pointed out by Dominic Cummings, Boris wasn't really paying much attention. So it's highly likely in the case of Matt Hancock, he was just, well, winging it? Which also happens to be what Matt Hancock was doing. Now for those who don't know, before Matt Hancock resigned his position as health secretary and went off to the back benches, Matt Hancock was exposed. He broke some rules, coronavirus and governmental rules, because as it happens, Matt Hancock is a sex machine. This exposure cost him his marriage and his rather prestigious job, one which again no one really believed he should have been kept in. And the reason he resigned his position as health secretary is because he got caught out via cameras on government property smooching somebody he gave the job to, an aide. Now yes, she was unpaid at the time, but that doesn't really matter, does it? It's a breach of rules, there's some ethical issues here. Oh, and he's married. Sorry, was. He has since gone on to abandon his wife and children and move in already with his new piece of crumpet, who has also left their respective partner. I'm so happy for him, the chinless stud. Since being replaced by Sajid Javid, Matt Hancock has scurried off to the back benches. And to be honest, we can all safely say we forgot that this fool still existed. And let's face it, these screw-ups, as far as his political career goes, should render him a backbencher in perpetuity. He can always be a Conservative MP because a lot of the Conservative spots, like his seat for example, is fairly safe. But as far as progressing his career beyond the backbench, no. He just has a job for life, with zero prospect of actually amounting to or contributing to anything, which has all since been proven wrong, because two things were trending recently. One was Matt Hancock and the other was sacked. And the reason why is because the United Nations had actually offered Matt Hancock a job. His job would have been to help Africa's economic recovery from coronavirus. Because what you need is a guy that only really was in office doing health, and his only experience with economics was to give away millions of pounds to his friends. So do tell me how a man that is only qualified in infidelity and giving away millions is going to help repair the economy of a continent that suffers massively from poverty. Is he going to run for president of the continent by doing a Mugabe and drive up inflation to a point of well beyond salvation? Or is he just going to do what I would suspect he'd do? Dither, delay and do absolute bollocks. So Matt Hancock tweeted out a letter he received from the UN Under-Secretary General Vera Songwe, offering him an unpaid role. He was congratulated by Liz Truss, Michael Gove, Nadine Dorries, but around the same time of him tweeting out that letter, the highly critical report from MPs that I spoke about on the Political Recap stream last week was released, going into detail about the government's handling of the pandemic and the fact that, well, let's face it, he failed. Now yes, a lot of it was hindsight, but there were some very important points within it, and I will link it down below if you want to read it. Matt Hancock's plan was to remain as a Tory MP while working as a UN Special Representative on financial innovation and climate change for the UN's Economic Commission for Africa. Well, that's since been taken away from him because the other trend was ACT, Turns out the UN were hardly impressed when they found out about that report, and they decided, oh no, you go bye-bye. Meaning, he is basically back where he started, on the back benches, where he can continue to not socially distance with the woman he kissed in an office, that he now can't go in. Congratulations, you absolute melt. I found this quite amusing because it was social media backlash along with opposition backlash. Enough stir was created, especially on the likes of Twitter, which is why he was trending, to see him lose out on a job opportunity, an unpaid one at that, because the man can't follow rules that he himself implemented. Remember folks, one rule for me but not for thee, the Matt Hancock way. With what's going on in Africa, the UN's decision, Matt Hancock himself, I would like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below and really drive up that engagement, and smash the like if you enjoyed. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and thank you all very much for listening.